Welcome to the Smart Influencer podcast. I'm Christina.
And I'm Corinne.
And together we help digital entrepreneurs streamline their businesses, maximize revenue, and finally feel in control of their time.
Every week we share tried and true strategies, proven systems, and expert interviews to help you grow your influence and income without the burnout. So if you're ready to get smarter about how you run your business, you're in the right place.
Before we dive in, if you love what you hear, be sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you find today's conversation helpful, share it with a friend who could use it too.
So today we're chatting with LYNSEY. Actually, LYNSEY, I meant to ask you this. Is it KMETZ?
Yes.
LYNSEY KMETZ from Apogee Agency, and we are going to be talking about affiliate marketing in 2025 and into 2026, since we're almost at the end of the year, because things have changed and we want to know how to maximize affiliate sales in this new era. So welcome to the show, LYNSEY. We're super excited you're here. To kick off, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and about what you do?
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited about this. I am actually a former blogger, former content creator, I say I'm too old to call myself an influencer, but I think those of us that were the OG bloggers, we kind of paved the way for what it is today. So I was a lifestyle blogger turned into a food blogger. And that is how I met Greg Hoffman, who is the owner, CEO of Apogee. And in 2021, he asked me to join his team. In 2019, he asked me to join his team, and I ended up selling my blog in 2021. So I feel like that's something that kind of gives Apogee a little bit of a different upper hand, maybe, with so many agencies, because our entire team now is content creators or bloggers, and we are able to kind of speak from both sides. And that's a really good thing for both the creators that we work with, but also the brands that we work with, because I spend as much time of my day educating brands on how to talk to bloggers and content creators and influencers as I do working with influencers to educate them on how to talk with brands. So I get to play both.
Thank you so much for being here. And I will say one of the things that I love about watching you, because we're Facebook friends, so I see your posts a lot in my feed. And I love that you're always sharing ideas, and not just ideas, but like information about how things work on the other side. And like just helpful tips, like things we are, that's why I wanted to have you on, because we're doing a lot of things wrong as bloggers that are like basically making it hard for people to give us money when they're trying to give us money. So like hiding things on our profiles and hiding things on our site that would make it easier for them to reach out or learn about us. And, they just move on to the next person that makes it easier. So I think you've got a lot of gold to share with us. I'm super excited to hear it all.
And I am probably the perfect case study for this. I'm sure I make it very difficult to work with myself.
Well, I will say every time that I've seen one of her posts in my feed, I've never been like, oh, I'm already doing it. It's literally not once. Not once. I'm like, oh, I should do that. Like,
and your heads and tails ahead of me.
So yes, pure gold. So why don't we start there, LYNSEY? Like, unless it's going to be unless you need 3 hours to do so, like, let's start with maybe some of the heavy hitters, like the biggest mistakes you see us making that are easy to fix.
So I think that, and I was so guilty of this. When I was a blogger, I was so inundated with all of these things I felt like I had to do, right? We spend so much time. I have to create the perfect content, and it has to be SEO friendly, and it has to be Pinterest friendly, and it has to be Instagram friendly. And then I don't want my friends and followers to think that I'm selling something and blah, blah, blah. So we're so in that, we don't ever stop and think, okay, wait a minute. How am I, like, we're worried about how we look to the algorithms and the followers and the whatever, but we don't stop to think, how do I look to a brand?
Right.
How does a brand see me? So when you see me get on and I get fired up on Instagram, especially, it's normally because one of the things that I'm doing is having to choose candidates for sponsored campaigns. Mm-hmm. So sponsored and affiliate have kind of merged, and that's something we could talk about at some point. But PR used to be like, if you've got 5,000 or 50,000 followers, I'm going to pay you this amount of money. You're going to do a post. I don't care if 4 people see it, etc. Right? Because they turned in a report that said 50,000 people saw that content. Well, brands have gotten smarter and they understand that's not how it works anymore. Mm-hmm. So by adding affiliate and adding a performance bonus, that has really helped brands figure out who is making the most sense to work with and who's making them the biggest ROI. That's squeezing us, guys, because we're having to be like, oh, hold on. My worth and my time and all that kind of stuff is now being directly connected to how much I'm actually benefiting a brand. If you look at it from the brand side, that makes sense. And that's probably how it should have been all along.
Right.
But it has certainly changed the game. So when a brand is looking at you now, or when I am looking at you because I am choosing who is there, I have to think, is this person a good fit to represent this brand? And is this person easy to actually connect with, right? So I'm looking first, if I am looking for a children's product, I need to see that you have children. So if I'm looking on your Instagram, I'm looking on your Facebook, I'm looking on your whatever, do I see you have kids? Same thing is true with pets. We have several pet brands. And I get all these applications, people, oh, I'd love to work with you and show you my, pup or whatever. And then I look and I can scroll back a whole year and you've never talked about your dog. Like, that has to make sense for the brand because the content needs to look authentic.
Right.
Right. So if you haven't talked about your dog, I can't hire you no matter how adorable your pet is. Because if that's the first time you've ever even told your audience that you have a dog, they're not going to care about the product. We're going to be, so you have to think, not every brand application fits you, and that's okay. Right. Like, don't apply for everything. You're not a good fit for everything, and you're going to be disheartened because you're not getting chosen for campaigns. But I'm like, but are you a good fit for the campaigns you're actually applying for? So is your content representative of something a brand would want to align themselves with? That's the big one.
Yeah.
Instagram is the hardest, I think, for that because Instagram likes skin. You know what I mean with that? So if I'm trying to hire you for a pet brand, I don't care how cute that bikini is, but my brand won't align with you there. Right. It kind of goes back to the day I remember I didn't get chosen for a campaign because I used a 4-letter word in a post like 5 years prior. And they'd found it and they were like, we can't. And it wasn't even one of the bad ones, but regardless. So are you someone that brand wants to align themselves with? And because you are the first impression someone gets of the brand you're representing. Right. So that's first and foremost. And then to your point, can I get you? I know that email, spam, blah, 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 blah. It's part of working online, man. Give me your email address. I don't want to hunt you down. And the thing is, there's so much competition now. To be honest, I'm not going to hunt you down. Right. I'm not going, when I've got 100 applications to fill 10 spots, you can be perfect. But if I can't reach out to you, so be easy to reach. Do not hide your engagement. That was the worst thing that Meta did. I understand the mental health side of it. I truly do. And for people who are not building a business around their social media, fine, right? Kids, teenagers that are on, absolutely hide that because there is a mental health component. I understand that. But this goes back to, again, I have had people apply that have hundreds of thousands of followers, which means their algorithm is already rough, right? Their engagement rate is already going to be rough just because of the nature of algorithms. So, once you get over 100,000, you get throttled. We all know that. Like, unless you're the macro, Justin Nunley, Mama Tot, those kind of people, Mama Cookies that are all over everything every day. And even they have talked about, anyway. Then when you hide engagement, the way you show up, there are software that give you a grade, so to speak. And so an average is about 3%. And remember in high school or in school when you would have like 10 assignments, you didn't turn one of them in and it would tank the whole grade? That is exactly how these tools work. If you have your engagement hit on one thing, it takes it down and down and down. Two things takes it down. So you have to think of it as like that's turning in a 0 on a assignment.
So no matter how low the number was, as long as it was more than 0, it's better to show
help.
Yes. And the thing is, we used to think that you had to have this, magic number of engagement or whatever. Brands get it. And when you have somebody like me or my team, we also get it. We're not looking for I can only think of him because I saw him right before we got on here, but his numbers are amazing, right? But he uploads like 7 times a day. He lives on the social. But anyway, so we're not looking for that. We're looking for authenticity. We're looking for true engagement. Stop doing those comment pods. Oh my gosh, it's so blatantly obvious. They're awful. And yes, they can help the algorithm or whatever. Sometimes not much, not enough I have brands that say nobody actually comments like that. So if you are doing the comment pods, let me put it this way. If you are doing comment pods, take the time to do them well. And if you have a VA doing them, have that person do them well. Don't just say, oh, this recipe looks great. People don't comment like that.
Right.
Look on TikTok. Those are authentic comments. That is how people really talk and really engage. Nobody's putting, unless it's paid for or, inflated or whatever, nobody's just putting like 3 hearts. That's not a comment. Stop it. Brands are smart and the software is smart. And the problem is when it shows up as just a bunch of hearts or, oh, this recipe looks great, or, oh, that looks great, or, some generic watered down garbage comment.
Way to make it.
I actually get a red flag that says inauthentic engagement.
Oh.
And then my brands see that and they're like, we're not paying her for engagement that isn't real.
Right. That isn't going to really lead to sales. They're not real. Yeah.
Right.
So
That makes
question
sense.
for you, because I feel like it is real engagement, but it's an attempt to game the algorithm. But because I know a lot of us use like Grocer's List or ManyChat. So, and it's my belief, right? Because I'm not in a comment pod, that anyone that replies with that is genuinely because they want the recipe or whatever. Is like, where does that fall on this engagement evaluation?
My suggestion with that, because I'm a fan of ManyChat and all of those, is to say, give me something and then comment whatever. So the comment just needs to have that word if it's set up properly, because we've used ManyChat. So if you're sharing green bean casserole for Thanksgiving, your call to action needs to be, share with me your favorite Thanksgiving side and comment green bean for my recipe. Something along those lines, so that the comment itself is not just green bean.
Gotcha.
Because that triggers ManyChat, and I get it, but and people like to be told what to do. And what we have to remember is that our followers are real people, not just other content creators. So they will do that. And that's what the authenticity shows, when it's a real comment and also they want whatever. Because people like, or ask something crazy. My late stepdad put Velveeta cheese in his green bean casserole. And I just thought that was criminal. Like, what are, And so I could joke about that. Are you team cheese or team no cheese?
Right.
That gets people talking, and you can still say, and comment green bean for the recipe or whatever.
Okay.
But it
I
asks
don't
for
know why
really,
this is on the top. I think because you mentioned about the dog products, like this
Yeah.
is, and I am going on a tangent, so I apologize. But in my feed constantly lately has been this guy, and I love watching his reels. Jarrell Carter. He's always doing stitches. And so he will take like some video of some woman doing some crazy like thing in the gym, right? Like some amazing feat of strength or flexibility. And he tries to do it, right? Like he's always trying to do it. And he gets it maybe half the time after many, many tries, right? So like he's just got a great personality. He's very charming. But he has this dog, Duty. Duty is the dog's name. And Duty is always trying to like get in the way, or he'll like climb on his chest while he's trying to do something. Is like Duty is just as much a part of these videos. Well, he sells stuff like for pets. Like he'll be like, "Oh, here, Duty," and it is very clear. He's very open about it. Everybody knows that he's selling it because it was a sponsor. And I bet he is selling gangbusters because it's so authentic. Like you could tell, like he really loves his dog. He's being honest about the fact that he's selling. He just does it so well. And his comments, like what you're talking about. Like, you know, a real person's comment when you see it. Like, people have a lot to say. They especially have a lot to say about Duty. They're like, Duty was trying to talk you out of this. You should have listened, right? Like, it's hilarious. But my favorite person, but it's like he does everything that you're saying so well. So I guess
Yeah.
it is a tangent, but anybody that's wondering how you piece all this together, he's in a completely different niche than I think most anyone listening to this is, but boy, he does it really, really well.
He
And
does it incredibly well. And the thing is, he doesn't water it down trying to do everything well.
Mm-mm.
yeah.
And I think that's important also. He has somehow managed to put humor and fitness and dogs together.
Yeah.
But it's only those things.
Yes,
He,
that's all he peddles. He peddles fitness things and some of the workout clothes and then
Mhm.
stuff for his dog.
Yeah.
and I think, I remember being a blogger in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, when like a new social media would hit the market, and all it was just like a collective groan. We're like, oh my gosh, we have something else we have to do.
Periscope.
Periscope,
Yes. What
Google
was that?
Hangouts,
Remember Plurk or something like that? It was,
TSU, wasn't that one? I don't even know how you say it.
Oh
That was like one
yeah.
way back when.
yeah, trying to be something other than Twitter. And, I mean, it's just the thing is, we were wrong, y'all. We
Mhm.
were wrong. We don't need to be everywhere all
No.
the time.
Yep.
If you do 1 to 2 platforms really well, truly, really well, you will make enough money that you don't like Periscope. Who? Like, what? I don't even know ones that are coming out now. I know they are. But and it's because we thought there was money everywhere and that you had to be everywhere all the time. And that's maybe was true then, but it's not true now.
Yeah.
Right now, my brands personally are laser focused on Instagram.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So everything that I'm hiring right now is Instagram. Sidebar to sometimes TikTok, but I think there's too much volatility over there still. We'll
Oh.
see what happens in the next 6 months, right? But I'm sorry, Instagram is where everything is. So when I am hiring, you can have a blog that gets tens of thousands of hundreds of, whatever. I don't care. I can't. That's not, you know,
So what are
I
you looking at on Instagram? Like, give me a high level. Like, clearly the alignment with the brand, so niche and the content that you post. But like, are you guys looking at the type of content that's published? Is one weighted more heavily than another? Like, is it better to be having stories or reels, or does it not matter as long as the engagement is there? Like, can you give me that short list of what you evaluate on?
So there's 3 main things we look for. The very first one is alignment. Okay. Whatever my product is or my brand is, you've got to have content that looks like that so that it at least seems authentic. Okay. The second thing is engagement, and it's using all the things. So I need to see that you do use reels. I need to see that you use carousels. I need to see that you use stories, right? I need to see that you've uploaded something in the last 24 hours, unless it's like Monday, right? I'll give you Sunday off, but or Saturday, whatever. But I'm not working on Sunday, so I won't know if you uploaded on Saturday. So, you have to treat it like a business. If I'm going to pay you, and I'm paying people's car payments and stuff like that, like I'm paying good amount of money, um, I have to see that you're treating it like a business. So
Yeah.
I need to see that you've used everything. And then the third thing is how often. And this is
Mm.
the biggie too. If I'm looking at your feed in July, and the last thing that you uploaded, this was one of my tangents I went on, Corinne, you may have seen. In July, I was choosing people for an Instagram campaign, and this person applied, and her last post was her Halloween decorations from 2024.
Wow.
Right, right. Now that was an extreme case, but
Yeah.
you haven't been on in a month if you didn't. I mean, because again, what value is that content going to bring the brand? If you haven't uploaded in a month, your audience has forgotten you exist.
Hmm.
Like it just, you have to think. And are you treating it like a business? Because I know, and I tiptoe around this because of the current economic garbage going on. But like, if you haven't worked in a month, I can't pay you. Like, I can't,
Right.
so it's,
Right.
Right. Right.
if you're going to do Instagram, do Instagram. And I personally think, and maybe this is just because I'm hyper focused on it because of my brands, currently, right now, for brand work, it has the most potential. And the reason why is because outside of actual TikTok shop products, it still has the highest conversion over all of the social sites.
Right.
And it has the most opportunity for community. And what I think the biggest thing that is going to happen in 2026 is brands are going to lean into people who have true audiences,
Mm-hmm.
not following, not what true community, true audiences, because there is so much competition. People have a level of trust. Like you're talking about, Corinne, people have come to know Daryl. So when they say something about Duty, we know Duty is a well taken care of baby, right? That dog is loved
For sure.
by Daryl and everybody else on the internet. So when he recommends something, we listen
Mm-hmm.
because there is that community there. And you can say that about your favorite content creators. Love them or hate them.
Mm-hmm.
They are making waves because they have that kind of community, because people trust them. I have purchased so much stuff from Erica Taylor. Do y'all know who that is? She does over 40 cosmetics. She is,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. I'm like, wait, I'm over 40. And she's so funny because she does this and this, right? And she'll be like, is this how you're doing your makeup? And I'm like, that looks good. That's exactly how I do my makeup. And then she does this side. I'm like, oh my God, that looks so much better. Like, wait. And then suddenly she's like, here's what you need to do it. And I just get, where do I order? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that simple. I trust her. I
Yeah.
like, she doesn't know me from Adam. Like, like there's no whatever. But if I comment, she comments back sometimes, and I mean, that's what we're looking for. That kind of trust and authenticity and real engagement. That is true engagement. And people say, well, that's so hard to do when my niche is food. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I'm
No.
telling you, talk about Velveeta cheese and some green beans. Like it'll get some engagement. I have started dabbling again in getting into the industry with sourdough and my own blog. So when I sold my blog, I bought a very, very old house that I'm renovating. And so I thought it would be fun to, now I'm not trying to go influencer status with it or anything. But I've started sharing about sourdough. You buy a house that has 3 ovens, it's like telling you have to
Yeah,
start
you
sourdough,
have
right?
to make sourdough.
So I have a little micro bakery, and when I share stuff, I get so much engagement. People either want to start sourdough, or they've got an idea of how to do sourdough, or they had sourdough here, or sourdough does grilled cheese better than what. I mean, like, there's all kinds of things. You
Yeah.
just have to get in the mindset of, I'm not just sharing this just to share it. I'm sharing it because it brings value to my community.
Right.
And when you have that, brands are able to see that. And the software certainly can
Yeah.
see that.
So one of my favorite influencers that I follow is Applesauce and ADHD. She does a lot of do you know her? Have you seen her stuff? Oh, she's amazing. She's super funny, but she leans into her brand and she does so her thing, she's known for aggressive cooking tutorials, and she swears, and she uses all the bad words.
Yes,
All of
I
them.
do know. Is she the wash your hands?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So here's
No,
that.
it's wash your effing hands.
Yes. I wasn't going to say it, but yes. So I didn't know that was her name.
Yeah.
But as
So
soon as you started talking to about her, I know exactly who it
yeah.
is.
And
Yep.
I feel like when you're describing all of this, she does everything with the exception of, she has kids. You've never seen them.
Yep.
You've never seen the children, but
Hmm.
she is so authentic and she shares everything, but
Hmm.
she just doesn't share their images. So I think there are ways of doing exactly what you're saying with, just being creative, but yet owning your brand. I think that's a lot of what you're saying here is being authentic to your brand and what you do and not trying to be something that you're not to try to like appease a brand because I think your community will know that. Like you're lacking that know, like, and trust. If I started, sharing my favorite beauty products, people would be like, what the heck is she talking about?
Yeah.
Because it's just not me.
Right.
Right. But if I'm sharing like my favorite spatula that I use all the time or the garlic press that I use all the time, I mean, that makes sense. But knowing your brand and really leaning into that, and I think Jessica does it so well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I love her.
So, Lindsay, I want to switch gears a little bit because I'm trying to suck out all of the genius that you have in the little bit of time we have to talk to you. But because you also work on the affiliate marketing side and you work on both sides of the aisle in terms of both being an influencer, a blogger, and the brand side, like what, so beyond brand deals, right? Like a big component of this is getting conversions, like getting your audience to buy. So since you work on both sides with so many people, like what are some of the things that either we're probably not doing or we're not doing right that could really be getting better conversions aside from, like I think we've hammered on the authenticity, right? Like
Yeah.
and being aligned. But are there any other little things that help with that and getting better conversions, making more sales overall?
Yeah. So I think that we've learned to be content creators. We call ourselves content creators. We've leaned into content, content, content. The word that has been missing is copy. If you talk to a copywriter, it is total two different ways of creating the same content. And when you're talking about like a crock pot, for instance, you can say that you have an 8-quart crock pot. That's content. You can say that your crock pot feeds your family of 6. That's content. Bridging that and talking more copy, it can still be just as authentic, just as easy to talk about or whatever, but leaning into things that are a little more copy. Content educates people. It just tells them about something. Copy tells them why it will make their life better, why they want it. It creates desire. So when you are either writing or doing videos or whatever, talk to get some copy in there and also use you terms. You
Mhm.
can feed your family. You can get dinner on the table. Not I. It's not me, me, me.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
about you when you're talking about stuff that needs to convert. And then sticking to your niche well enough that it makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, it's Daryl talking about duty, what duty likes, your dog will too. It's just talking about what her family will eat because your family can too. I
Right.
love that massive, and I think I've asked a couple of times and it's never been available. She looks every time. She has this enormous cooking pot, like on the
Mhm.
stove. It's
Mhm.
huge. I'm an empty nester. I don't know why I feel like I even need this thing, but it's huge. And she, can cook so much cool stuff in it because again, she's throwing things in there and I'm like, this looks so amazing. And when you've got 19 cans of something, you can't have a smaller pot, right?
Mhm.
So, those kinds of things, sticking to your niche, making it make sense and having it where somebody understands how it'll make their life better.
So I think what you're describing is discussing the benefits, not the features.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
like I always liken it to the clock on a coffee pot, right? You have you can buy this coffee pot because it has a clock, or you can buy this coffee pot because you will wake up to fresh coffee because it has a timer built in.
Right.
Like you're selling that sense of waking up to freshly brewed coffee versus the timer.
And I think people are worried about sounding salesy, and
Yeah.
really, we need to get over that. We are sold to every moment of every day, and our brain filters out 80% of it, which is why we are sold to every moment of every day because brands and advertisers and marketing know this. The difference is when you have that community.
Mm-hmm.
Because when your girlfriend is talking to you about something she picked up at Trader Joe's, do you feel sold to?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right.
Why would you feel that way we get in our head about it because it's not true. Like, no, when Jess talks about something, or when, Mama Todd or Justin Nunley or whomever, Derek, the guy with the squirrels, like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
when they talk about things, we don't feel sold to. Why? Because there is that community there, because it feels like, we have that connection with people that don't even know our names,
Yeah.
but it's there. So if you build the community, you can talk about it. Yesterday, I put up an apple core peeler thing. It's the best $20 I have spent in my kitchen in forever. It has been on my wish list. It wasn't until my friend Kelly Pugliano,
Oh, we
Oh,
know
we
Kelly.
love Kelly.
yes, from my K Pugs, she put it in her newsletter. And it's one of her favorite things. And that we could go down that rabbit hole about newsletters too. But she had it in her favorite things list. And I sent her a text and I'm like, all right, girl, is it really that good? And she's like, it is that good. And I'm like, all right, boom, you got my order. There it is. It's the greatest thing ever. It $20. I must have peeled 30 apples in like 10 minutes yesterday. Again, because I have a micro bakery, but I'm thinking, I could, if my girls, when they were little, if I had had that thing, because they ate apples more than anything in the world. But, that was just an easy, she had it in her newsletter. I had thought about it. I shared it yesterday. I shared mine. I sold 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was just talking about how much, and I was like, you guys, and I'm literally like cranking the thing, and I'm like, check this out, and I'm eating it and whatever, and I'm playing with the strings.
But she didn't sell you. She solved your problem. And
Right.
I think if you just reframe your thinking that you're not selling to people, you're solving their problems, I think it makes it a little easier for you to do it. And it helps you craft that copy better too. When
Yeah.
you think about like when you come at it from the problem solving aspect versus the selling something aspect.
Well,
Right.
and I think if you can get off the content hamster wheel, because I feel like you were saying earlier, Lindsay, about how we've got to do this, we've got to know SEO,
Yeah.
we've got to be on this platform, we've got to do all this. Like it's so easy to get lost in the weeds of all the stuff that you have to do. And that was me for a really long time, and still actually me to a certain extent. But like the one thing that I realized this year, finally, after like multiple masterminds, is I have not been doing a good job of really figuring out what my moms need and how to, like you said, Christina, like how to solve their problem.
Hmm.
And since I have done that, like just really focused on what is your struggle every day and what are the things that I can show you, give you, like tell you about that make that easier. And it's like it is easy. Like we're all in
Hmm.
this because we were suffering from the problem.
Yeah.
So we know it. Like I know they're tired, they're like overwhelmed. They make a million decisions before they've had their, finished their coffee for the morning. Like you know what it is. It's just getting those offers in front of them. But keeping that front of mind, like top of mind, when you also have to get your newsletter out and
Yeah.
publish content.
Yep.
Like they, I don't know, like I think it's the matter of keeping the right carrot in front of you.
Yeah, and I think it's a muscle you have to flex, right? Like that's the only way you're going to develop it is by using that muscle. So, whether you have to just put a note in front of yourself that says, I'm solving a problem, not selling, and just reminding yourself that you're doing, and to write in that fashion,
Actually,
you'll get
that's a
better.
great idea because I'm visual. I think taking a picture of a mom in crisis
Hmm.
and keeping that somewhere, like just so I remember this is who I'm trying to help.
Your avatar, yeah.
Well, and to your point, the decision fatigue is real for all of us.
Right.
So with Kelly's example, I had thought about that Apple Core, but I couldn't believe that something for 19.99 would be that awesome. So
Right.
when she said it was good, she made the decision for me.
Hmm.
And, when you have that trust, I mean, I trust Kelly with my life.
Right.
When you have that kind of trust, she made the decision for me. It was easy. And the one that I had in my Amazon wish list, it was a different brand,
Hmm.
but I bought the one she said.
Yeah.
Even though I had researched the other one, I bought the one Kelly said, and she was absolutely right. So yeah, you're doing a service to somebody when you help them make one less decision. You
Yeah.
make the decision for them. You make their life easier. And that was something that I learned from Sherry Smotherman Short.
We
She was
love
like,
Sherry.
We love
we love
Sherry.
Sherry.
You're
She was
you're
like, do you
good
know
for
how
it
rude
here.
it is to make me look for something? do you know how rude it is to make me hunt down a product because you didn't link it? You've talked about it and how awesome it is, and then you're so rude you didn't have a link to it.
Yep.
It's true.
Yes, ma'am. I
It's
understand.
true.
Yep.
I get it. You're right. You're right.
I want
Yeah.
to
If it's
circle back because I know newsletter. Christina and I are like lovers of email and newsletters. Like we could talk about that forever. So I don't want to necessarily go down that whole rabbit hole. But I know you said that when you're working with brands, they're really, really focused on Instagram right now. That's where the highest growth is. I'll say personally, for me, I get my best conversions in email because, well, one, because I like it. So that's where I put my time. Is there a way to monetize that with brands? I mean, like I use affiliate links there all the time, but is there something beyond just going and finding my own affiliate links?
If you are already doing well with your newsletter affiliate, reach out to the brand and tell them that specifically.
Okay.
Okay.
That is one of those times that I can make an exception. So I am given a budget to spend every month per brand, and I have to find how to allocate that budget, very a la PR, right? So most of the time, I am putting it into Instagram because that is where we see the biggest conversions. But if I have money left over, which I often do, but don't tell anybody, um, and somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, look, but you have to come to me with stats. Because
Hmm.
here's the thing about Instagram, I can give a full picture of what actually happened with that piece of content. When you do that reel and that story for me, I can tell you the impressions, the comments, the views, all of that kind of stuff. It is hard to quantify that on email. So what I need you to do is say, hey, listen, I've been talking about this. I've got a whole box of pasta right here. I've been talking about Sfolini in my newsletter for the last couple of months, and I'm seeing a really great conversion. I would like to partner with you more and do a dedicated post just for Sfolini. What can we do?
Hmm.
And then I need to see how many people are on your list. What is your open rate? Where are they from? And then give me an idea of what clicks you're getting or what conversions you're getting. And it doesn't have to be astronomical. It can be 50 clicks and 5 conversions, and I can pay you, because that is a signal that it is going well. That is a signal that your audience likes it. So, yes, let's lean in more. Those are the signals that I am looking for, whether it is Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or, blogs or whatever. So, what happens is, and this is something that I didn't know, and this is part of how the whole ecosystem works together. When I do a campaign, I watch your content, I look back 2 or 3 months later. If you have talked about the brand organically again, I get to work with you again.
Hmm.
We did a disservice where it was, we did a PR brand or PR campaign, we got paid, we moved on, next, 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 next. Affiliate, you can't just do next. I call it one night stand marketing.
Yes,
Hmm.
that
Edit
makes
that, edit
sense.
that if you have to. It's a little risque, but there's no other way to hone in. Stop doing one night stand marketing.
Right.
If you do one post about one product one time and you never talk about it again, why would you expect, first of all, the brand to think, you're awesome, which we know you are, but you doesn't look like that on paper. But why would you think your audience thinks you care or that you
Yeah.
truly believe in that product? So I think that is what has hurt the influencer and blogger too, is because if you tell me you love something, you can't love something and then never talk about it again.
Right.
Hmm.
You loved it for that one post,
You
and then
loved
you
it for the
never talk
money, is
about
what
it.
it says.
Yeah. But I think honestly, we were trained like that from back in the day, where there were
No.
certain agencies, I won't name names, that we've all worked with for sponsored content. That was like you filled out the applications, like, yes, I love this obscure product that you're pitching me right now. I will write a blog post, I will do all these social things, and then next week it's going to be some other obscure
Right.
product, and we're doing the in-store shots and all this
Yep.
rigmarole, and it's very transactional.
But what's wild was I was one who kind of got caught in a loop where I did like 5 with the same product in that
Mhm.
same agency, that same whatever. And people were like, they play favorites. I'm like, no, it was really
Yeah.
because number one, I was always on time turning stuff in, even if I had only gotten the product the day before. It happens. Okay. I mean, it happens. I can't control the postal service. But I always turn things in on time. I can tell you the one thing that I didn't, and I agonize about it to this day. But I got it to him that day. Anyway, got it on time. The content was good. The content actually was all the things it needed to be. Like I was thorough in it. But then also the content did well with my audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there were some PR people that play favorites. Please know I'm not that person. I can't play favorites. I have too many.
Right.
Right.
I have too many favorites and not enough budget to only ever pick favorites. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that we use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
I'm not in the in crowd, when the truth was, if we really look back at it, were we really a good enough fit for that brand? Did we really do our absolute best work? Did we make it easy for that agency person, that,
Right.
I don't remember what we called them, the campaign manager is what we call ours,
Mm-hmm.
because those things play a role too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If you're late, if you don't turn in your drafts on time, so then, if you don't turn in your content on time, because everything is done with campaigns in groups, right? You have to confirm your participation and get me your address, because I'm going to mail everything out at the same time. I am not the post office. I'm not a drop shipper. I can only go to the post office so many times a day, right? So, like, I need you to get me your stuff. That is a sign of professionalism. And are you treating this like a business?
Right.
Okay. And then with the drafts, I have to send the drafts to the brand. I have to send them all together to the brand. So I can't wait on you because you've decided to take a vacation and not communicate it or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you don't turn it in. So I think you're no longer interested, which happens.
Right.
But then I get an email a week later, here's my draft. Okay. Well, everybody else has already been approved.
That
So I'm
window
going to send
closed.
you over to the brand. And then you'll turn in your content late. I've already submitted everybody else to be paid. So your payment is going to be late. And because we pay through the networks, if I don't pay you on a certain day, it doesn't lock in the network, which means, and my contract is I have to pay the network. I can pay the network within the allotted time, but you won't get it to your bank for 30 days later if you're late, not me. So that's another one of my tangents. Make it easy. Do your best. And I don't care if it's only paying you $100 or whatever. Do your best every time, because there's been a lot of times that we've started with like a $250 campaign, but when it goes gangbusters, I'll pay you $1,250 next time.
Right.
But not
And like
if
you
I
were
can
saying,
tell
now
you.
that they merged the sponsorships with the affiliate links, like now you're basically getting paid to create content that you might have created anyway to get affiliate commissions, right? Like, so why not like work those two together? Because that it makes it make more sense to be constantly promoting a brand, right? Like if you were going to do it so that you could make the commissions, why not do it really well so that the brand will want to hire you to do it for them? And then you make commissions. I assume still make commissions on those.
Yep. Yep. But gone are the days of everything needing to be Pinterest perfect, and thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
I really give TikTok all the credit there. Like they really showed how you can just be authentic and not be perfect and still be fantastic, right? And so we have one brand that we just released a case study, because we have just done over and above anything that we could have projected with our forecast with this program. And it is a kids product. And I have made it so easy for the campaign. I'm like, listen, I'm going to pay you $300. I'm going to ship you a product. Take some video, show yourself putting the product on your kids' stuff. It's name bubbles. I think I can say that. And just do a voiceover. Talk about how easy it is. Have your kids playing in sports or playing at camp or playing at, whatever. Don't even have to show their face, right? But show how easy it is. Converts like crazy. It's a voiceover. It should not take you more than an hour and a half to do that from start to finish. And if it does, you are being too meticulous. You should be able to get content done in an hour to an hour and a half. I have a pet brand, same deal. And I literally even said this. I'm like, I know, because I'm a pet parent, you have pet videos in your camera roll. Here's your script. Throw it over top of that. I'm going to pay you $400, like plus commission. So like, it just doesn't have to be that hard. I used to agonize over concepts and, all this kind of stuff. And I'd have to clean my entire house so that I had 2 clean feet to, record something and, all that kind of, like, we do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
And it made us look so inauthentic by trying to look authentic.
Right.
Right? It just shouldn't be that hard. And I was a part of the whole know your worth movement, and I know that we can get fired up about that and stuff. I think that has really changed, and I think that we have assigned our worth to the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
And the brand itself has to look, there is so much competition, there is so many. Every time I send something out, because right now the big trigger is that we're asking for 6 months worth of rights with every bit, and I did not go up on my pricing. And I get nasty grams every time, but the problem is every time I get over 100 applications of people who are just as good, who are willing to, and I know that we're like, people have to stop doing that. But you have a whole UGC community that they will do it for a third of what I'm offering.
Yeah. Right.
And the problem with that is, if what you do differently than UGC is your audience, then you have to have a real audience.
Yep.
They have to be in the United States. They have to be aligned with what the brand is. So like, I had one gal, she applied. I couldn't hire her because her demographics were 70% men and outside of the United States. And I said, this is a female-centric product that only ships to the US. Those 2 things are the reason why I can't hire you. I love your content. You've always been great, but I can't because of that. And she was like, I applied and it was less than my rate usually anyway. And I'm like, I understand that, because she had a lot of followers, but the followers themselves,
right.
I don't want to say they were inauthentic. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how she got that many men from other countries. Like, I'm not accusing at all.
Right.
But that's what it is. And so when I've got somebody UGC willing to do the exact same deliverables, again, because I have a budget, I have to do as much as I can with the budget that I am given. And then I have to go to the brand and say, here is how I spent all of your money.
Right.
And here is what I got you for it.
Right.
And so when I say I got you 8 30-second reels that went out to the actual amount of people that saw it, not the follower count. And by the way, you can have 6 months worth of rights. Here's what people are so short-sighted about. This happens all the time. My brands will pick, out of the, say, 8, my brands will pick 3 or 4 of their favorites. They will download those. They will put spend behind them or whatever. We have a calendar. After that 6 months, if that ad is still going well, we go back to you and they're like, hey, we need another 6 months. And that one generally has a couple, like a comma in it. Okay. To have another 6 months, because the content has proven itself. So people are like, I'm not giving you rights. I'm not giving you rights for that. And I'm like, okay, I understand. I probably wouldn't have a couple of years either, but you're missing out on an opportunity. And the UGC people, they don't care what you do with it. You can have it in perpetuity. They don't care.
For listeners that don't know, though, UGC is user generated content. That might be an acronym that some people listening may not be aware of, but that's what we mean when she's saying UGC.
Yes. So the UGC crew, they create content like we do, but they don't publish it to an audience at all. They may not even have an audience at all. Right. They understand copy. They understand shooting video and how to present a product. And they send over the video, and I can get a 30-second UGC video generally within 48 hours in perpetuity rights. That's exactly what I need for around $100 right now.
I have a friend that I just found out is doing this. She's in no way in our space. Like, she doesn't do she has no aspirations to have a blog, have social media. But she works with a very large retailer, and they basically will send, she can pick two items from a certain collection
Yep.
every month. And then in exchange, she just has to do like a quick video review of it. That's it.
That's
She
it.
doesn't get paid at all. She gets the free item. So she's just basically outfitting her home with these free items.
Yep.
But yeah, they're well, like, because to her, all she has to do is shoot a 60-second video.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're here, yeah, we're having fits over, all the
You know,
details.
when I
You
was
just have to weigh
18,
the ROI on everything.
Yeah.
You have to do it, and you have to do what's right for you. So if it's not right for you, then it's not.
Right.
You just have to
absolutely.
be confident to step aside and let somebody else take your place who it is right for them.
Yeah. When I was 18 years old, was introduced to direct sales, right? Old MLMs. This was in the 90s. Be careful. But, I remember I was 18 years old and I call it being blessed by ignorance because I had no idea that you were supposed to be scared to talk to people about your business. So I ended up being one of the top performers. And that is kind of how I got started, even in the online space. I was one of the top team leaders, top, whatever, because I didn't know that you were supposed to get all up in your head and you were supposed to be scared to talk to people and whatever, because I was such a social butterfly. I was talking to everybody.
That's funny.
And, so to your point, your girl that's doing UGC or whatever, she doesn't know it's supposed to be hard.
Right.
She hasn't had a chance to get all up in her head. She's not in 15
Right.
blogging groups where we're all talking about,
Mhm.
every blip and everything that psychs us all out completely. Like, she's blessed by ignorance. And there is a part of me that wishes I could go back to that in a lot of ways,
I
Right.
agree.
because I think that we get in our own way
Hmm.
So
almost
on that topic, because
100%.
you said something earlier, and I want to make sure we hit it because I think you've got some wisdom on this, and I think it's helpful because you were talking about like when we were talking about email, how maybe it gets 50 clicks and 5 conversions. Like this is something we always get asked, and I get stopped every time I've ever done any like money, like the money and the numbers is always very confusing, and we don't know how they're perceived. And we all have imposter syndrome, so we always assume that whatever our numbers are not impressive. So from the brand side, what are you looking for? What are you looking at? Like what's a good number? What's a bad number? How do we start to figure that out?
The only bad number is zero.
Okay.
The
Okay.
only bad number is zero, truly. Because any activity, true activity,
Mhm.
is a signal. When you're looking at it from the brand's point of view, I want you to imagine you have a product that you're going to sell and you can ship to anywhere in the United States. And you know what kind of audience you want, you know who your ideal person is, and you're going to get 10 people, 10 friends that are going to talk about it. When one of those friends, you choose 10 people that are a little bit different, right? And have different circles of influence, circles of friendship, or whatever. When you see one person get a little bit, that that is a signal, that is a clue. So you're going to go down that path. Okay, what was it that Corinne said about this that resonated with her audience? Because that could start a whole different campaign idea. I've had where people have talked about like a product making them sleep better when I was trying to talk about it making less stress. So guess what my next campaign was? Sleep better with this product. So not because that went completely gangbusters crazy, but because she used it and that resonated with her
Hmm.
audience. And when I say resonated, it just means I saw authentic comments. She got clicks. She didn't even get conversions in the beginning. She did once she talked about it a few more times. And that's something to remember also, going back to our one night stand marketing. You have to see a product more than one time to
Hmm.
make the decision to purchase. I had had that apple corer in my wish list for probably close to a year. And it
Hmm.
was only 20 bucks. Like, what was I waiting for? But I was waiting for somebody to say it's worth the 20 bucks.
Yeah.
That's
A
what I was
lot of times the consideration part of the customer journey is the longest part of the
right.
journey. And the
Right.
conversion part isn't necessarily based on what we're saying. If the page that we're sending them to doesn't seal the deal, it doesn't fall on our shoulders for that, for promoting it. Like it's a relationship.
And that's part of what I talk to brands about. Your job
Yeah.
is to get the clicks. Their job is for the site to convert.
Yeah. So it's
That
like
being
it's like a
said,
well-oiled machine. It needs to be a well-oiled machine
right,
that works together.
right.
Yeah.
That being said, you also need to give enough information that people are clicking with intention.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's window shopping versus walking into the store,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I need to get people to walk in, not just window shop. Where scrolling is window shopping, right?
Mhm.
Clicking is walking in, but we've got to get you to the brand's got to get you to the cash register.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great, Lindsay. So,
So good. Yeah.
do you have any last nuggets you want to share with our listeners before we wrap up?
I think that if I was going to give somebody like a key takeaway, an actionable thing, one of the biggest things that has changed in the industry because it has gotten so large is that we have different types of creators. And you really need to decide which one you're going to be and
Hmm.
then really lean into that. And what I mean by that is if you are a blogger, you have a blog, you're in an ad network, you are creating content, you want people to click through and buy, you have a rockin' email list, you could not care less about putting makeup on or showing your face or doing whatever. That is just not your thing. You don't want to show your house, you don't want to show your life, you don't want to show whatever. Cool. Lean into that and do that really, really well. You are a content creator. Learn about copy and then don't worry about that. Don't apply to campaigns that have Instagram, baby, because you're not an Instagrammer. That's okay. That's okay. All right. If you haven't upgraded or updated Instagram in 3 months, you're not an Instagrammer. Don't apply. You're wasting my time. I love you, but okay. So if though you are somebody who you're going to show your face and you're going to show every moment of your day and you're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, no matter what it looks like, you're going to be a true influencer, then do that and do it
Hmm.
well and do it every day.
Hmm.
Your true influencer, the only SEO you care about is the is the platform you're on.
Right.
Okay. That's it. Don't put blinders on to everything else. And then if you're going to be an influencer, then choose your platform and go 100% in on that platform.
Hmm.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. 3 biggies.
Mhm.
Okay. Stop trying to be all things to all people. If you're an OG blogger that says, I just can't do video, honey, then don't. And don't feel bad about it. And don't beat yourself up about it. Just know that's not your lane.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Because brands are looking for long form content that gets them mentions on Google. So that's where you need to be. When people are looking for social proof, they're looking for influencers. And if you just have a rockin' email list, that in itself can be enough to sustain you. And that could be a whole nother topic.
Hmm.
But when you get talked to about affiliate, we're not asking you to work for free. I'm asking you to work and make money off the audience that you have.
Right.
And I'm looking at where does your content fall? How is it? Are you a blogger? Because if I need long form content, that's where it is. But if you are an influencer, I need to be able to look at your platform and know that's where you are running a business.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
So
that
before we let you go, Lindsay, we do want to be respectful of your time. How do people apply with you, or where do they find you if they want more information?
So I do have a newsletter. So apogeeinsiders.com. We have a Facebook group. We have a newsletter. You can always email me, lindsay@apogeeagency.com. I'm on Instagram, Apogee Agency. So
All right.
everywhere, anywhere.
All right. We will put all of these links in the show notes.
yeah.
And I
Well,
can
thank
also do an audit. That's something too. I'm happy to do an audit for anybody. If you want to see what brands see, shoot me an email. If you're a blogger, say, hey, this is a URL to a blog post where I was talking about a product. It gets views, it gets clicks, it's not converting. Let me look at it. Let me tell you why. If you are on Instagram, I'm applying, I'm not getting chosen, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. And let me tell you from the brand side what I'm seeing, and I will, for free, tell you how to do better. But I'm going to tell you that I'm a tough love. I'm that auntie that's going to get onto you and be honest, but I'm doing it with love, and I'm doing it because I want you to do better.
That is very generous of you. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's all we can expect, right? Just that honesty. I mean, you're only out there to, because if we do better, you do better. So,
yes.
And it's
well,
a business. Like,
yeah,
it's,
for everybody.
We're here to make money. So how do we make that happen?
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lynsey. And if you want to take action and really, hone in what we talked about today, make sure you sign up for Lynsey's email, first of all. Second of all, take her up on that offer for the audit. I think that is definitely going to be something I'm going to circle back with. And I think it'll help you implement what you just learned today.
And we would love to hear from you. So please tag us on Instagram at The Smart Influencer with your biggest takeaway from today's conversation, or drop us a DM and let us know how you're applying what you learned.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We will be back next week with another episode to help you grow smarter, work less, and